Daly here. Lou Millard here. Dean Dorsey
Here.
Broken.
Here.
Waiting for.
Yeah.
Trouble logging in. Chairman Bailey
Here.
and alternate John Bacon,
Present.
alternate Steve Biella
Good evening. Hey.
remotely.
All right. And until we hear from Scott Hamill, I'll ask John Dyken to stand in.
Sure, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, the first item on the agenda is a receipt of new applications and scheduling of public hearings as required or necessary. Item A, receipt and schedule is a subdivision of Thomas Kokomo Brothers for the 3-lot subdivision at 398 Chamberlain Highway, property of Shuttle Metal Development LLC in the R21 zone. So I guess we have to schedule that for,
If I may.
yeah,
So staff has a conflict with the annual planners conference with the meeting that's scheduled for November 6th.
okay.
So we're asking that you either cancel or reschedule that meeting. The 16th of this month is too soon for that application for any public hearing to be scheduled because we need time to notice the meeting and that doesn't give us enough newspaper time for the 16th. So the next available date that's already on the calendar is November 20th, with this application having a must open date of November 22nd.
Okay, Mr. Zigmont has the motion to schedule for
I'll
November
second.
20th, with the second going to Ms. Jorsey. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, so moved. Maureen, do we need to just cancel, have a motion to cancel the meeting of November 6th?
At the discretion of the commission.
I'll make a motion to cancel the November 6th,
You're my best
2025
friend.
meeting.
Thank you. Motion to cancel the November 6th meeting by Ms. Jorsey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dyken. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on. The receipt and schedule of the text amendment application of Newport Realty Group LLC to allow for the development of a pre-existing parcel of less than 2 acres in the PR1 zone. Where is that?
So the PR1 zone is a zone that you would, you usually would put into effect with a development. It's a floating zone. That, so for instance, when Shuttle Meadow came in for their housing on West Lane, a PR zone was created there. There's a PR zone up at the northeast corner of town where there's, on Webster Street next to Eversource,
Okay,
PR zone up there.
but where's the,
And they would add, so this is the text of the PR zones that would allow for, I'm sorry, I've got to reread it again. Where is this parcel?
yeah, but
Land? So it is, the parcel they're looking at is actually in the northeast corner of town. Up off Webster Street and Colby Road. No, Rocky Hill.
oh, okay, all right. So
And
for
if
some reason, I,
Contiguous to another PR1 zone is what some of their language.
okay,
talks. I believe the language talks to the fact that it's contiguous to another PR zone.
okay, so that's up by Cold Spring.
Yes,
That's off of Cold,
yes.
okay.
Behind that, way up in the corner.
When I saw Newport Realty, I was thinking
Think
that
that's
it's
how-
right down here and
Mhm.
I was confused. Okay.
But the PR
Colby Road,
zone can
north-
float
off
to
at-
wherever,
By Northeast Utilities.
from, you know, if somebody finds an
Yeah.
applicable parcel, they would ask to be rezoned to a PR zone.
Okay.
There are a few in town. There's another another similar development as the one up on Webster Square. I'm sorry, I don't have the
Oh,
map.
Scott Hamill's on now. He found his way. Okay. I know. Well, we'll act on this first. Okay.
My suggested date for this is also November 20th.
Okay, so November 20th. All righty, and so the motion goes to
second.
Mr. Zigmont with the second by Ms. Jorsey. Further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. And noting that Scott Hamill is on, I'll ask John Dyken to stand down unless you're needed again. Thank you, John. Okay, moving on, commission business, site plan amendment application of BT 2008 LLC for the installation of roof-mounted solar panels to Phase 2 of the mixed-use development at 414 Berlin Turnpike and the BT1 zone. Oh, okay, great. So now I know why you're here. All right, thank you. That's not how the building really looks, is it?
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, my goodness, because I was gonna say, there's no way we would approve that. That's outrageous.
Notes on that.
No way.
No, they have windows.
Is that a prison?
Oh,
Kind of like it. Kidding.
All right, no, we're just kidding here.
Future.
Yeah, it was in the attachment to the email today.
For the record,
Yeah.
my name's Megan Hope. I'm an attorney with Alter, Pearson, Hope in Glastonbury, Connecticut. I'm here tonight representing the property owner and applicant, BT 2008 LLC. They're the property owner of 414 Berlin Turnpike. If this commission recalls, back in 2021, you approved a zone change from BT1 to BTD and then a site plan and special permit application with a master plan. It was a multi-phase project that had a convenience store with a drive-through, 200 residential apartment units, and then also a retail building along Berlin Turnpike and a proposed 100 room hotel. I don't know if we had a bunch of meetings during COVID. These are all Zoom. I don't know. This was the PowerPoint that we had showed back in 2021. But anyways, so phase 2 was the apartments. They're under construction now. I believe 2 of the 5 residential buildings have received COs already. And this application is just for a site plan modification to allow roof-mounted solar panels to those proposed buildings and the garages. So we had 5 residential buildings that were approved, and then 5 garages that were approved as well. So the reason I put up this model of the building is because I did just want to remind you what the roof line looked like. These buildings were approved at 4 stories, and at the top of them, you had 2 peaked sections on each end, and in the middle, the roof is flat. So, yeah, and it's also on the screen as well, if that's easier to look at. Here's a paper one. So I felt like seeing it in the 3D first gave a little bit more context. So we're putting roof panels on each of the 2 peaked sections, and then also roof panels on the flat section of the roof as well. Here's an overhead view of those garage buildings. Just on one side of the peak section of the roof would be those roof mounted panels. Roof mounted solar panels are permitted in your regulations in all zones. You do have a couple very specific requirements for solar panels that our application does meet. One of your requirements is that when you add the solar panels onto your building, you can't exceed the height requirement in the zone. And so the height requirement in the BT zone is 65 feet. Our buildings at their highest point are 60.5 feet. And the solar panels just add 8.7 inches. So we're still below that maximum height. So we do meet that requirement. You also have a requirement that the exterior surfaces of the panels and the equipment have to be non-reflective. And we did submit a spec sheet that indicates that all the panels have a non-reflective coating on the top of them. And finally, your regulations do require that the panels are mounted at the same angle as the roof surface. So we've done that with all our panels. They're mounted at the same angle as the peaked roof section, obviously flat for the flat roof sections. And your regulations indicate that when you mount those panels, there can't be more than 18 inches between the top of the panel and the top of the roof. So they can't be protruding out. And again, ours are only 8.7 inches off the roof surface. So it should look very flush and streamlined with those buildings. So that's really the extent of my presentation. It's a pretty straightforward application. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I know my client has been through it. It took, 'cause obviously we got this project approved many years ago. It took 2 years to get this deal put together with the solar panels and the utility company. Crazy enough, they're actually called tariffs, which is wild now. But anyway, so it took a while for them to get all the paperwork and approvals in place, but he's received that. And the last piece of the puzzle is to obviously get local approval, but otherwise he has all the equipment and everything to install them.
Curious, are the solar panels going to be for usage on this site?
So the power gets sold back to the grid, but then the grid can give it to the users, which would it's typically the way it was explained to me that it goes to the grid, but then the grid sends it out to the users, and they're typically sending it to users within the area. So it doesn't go to the exact apartment unit. My understanding is that a property owner like Mr. Diadio, who's the managing member of this entity, he's not able to be a utility company, so he can't take the power through the panels and sell it to
Yeah.
people. He has to give it to utility company. They're authorized through regulations to be able to sell it to individuals. I asked him that same question.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm thinking.
Had a
That
red
is very
tape.
Typical.
Yeah.
That is what we've heard in the past. What, the regulations intend is that not generating more than they would be using on their site generally. You know, I mean, how hard that is to control because, you know, if you get great sun, you're gonna obviously be able to generate more, but, so they don't become, really utility generators as another place that's generating energy. It's supposed to kind of wash with what the site uses. But that's very hard to define and monitor.
Okay, questions, Commission?
So the residents won't be getting any benefit from the solar panels?
You don't get like no, they wouldn't get like a reduction in their utility. They're gonna buy their power from Eversource same way they would if there weren't any solar panels. Roof.
Tim?
Yes, I have a question. The
Yep, on the
the
other side.
taller building, I understand, no problem, but the garages, which are a low building, and, you know, they're just higher, whatever the garage is, the peak is. These garages, which garages are we talking about? The new ones that just built? If they are, then they're gonna be seen very easily on these roofs on this side. If the solar panels are on the north side of the building, you'll see them when you're going south, but if they're on the southbound part of the building, when you're going north, I mean, when you're going north, you'll
Right.
see them on the southbound side of the building. Being that low, and 8.5 inches thin, that's gonna be you're gonna be able to see them pretty good because they're that low. On the top, the tall building, you're not gonna see them because they're too high to see. Uh, and, and my question is on the garages and the visible look of them on the garages. So are you saying just one building? I don't know what's left to build, 2 buildings?
So there's 5 apartment buildings and then 5 garages as well. So there's 5, this is
Okay.
basically replicated 5 times.
5 times.
Like
Okay.
the difference is if you remember from the site, and I'm sorry I didn't bring the full site plan, but we had commercial buildings along Berlin Turnpike. So we had
Right.
the convenience store, the
Yeah.
retail, and the hotel. And then behind that, we had the residential buildings and the garages. So
Right.
solar panels would be on the south sides of these garages that are on the north. So I think those would be visible, but I think if you're driving north on the turnpike,
Oh, you're-
you'd have to see through all these
Yeah, the
buildings.
ones on the north side of the
Certain
project,
buildings.
I'm concerned about the southbound ones that just being built now.
These
The
two.
roofs aren't on them yet.
Yeah, you wanna
Uh,
come here, come up to the
As
microphone.
long as you state your name and address, I guess, for the record.
Thank you, folks. Sorry I'm tardy.
Yep.
Peter Diadio,
Okay.
Commercial Services Realty, the developer on the project. And I caught comments from Councilman Sigmund regarding visibility. And while it's completely accurate, the garages on the north side, you can't even see the garages.
You won't even see them. No.
Panels. The garages on the south side, you'd be able to see the south side panel if you were heading north.
Hmm.
And if there's no tree growth, which there probably will be some, but you definitely can see those garages, right? Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you'll have
Yeah.
to look,
Yes, yes.
right? But, you know, we do have 2 more buildings going in front. And I mean, they can be seen on that roof, right? If you head north,
Yeah.
we're just siding it right now.
Yeah, that's the only,
And those are the only.
area
ones
that I
will
was
be visible.
question, the only ones that were question because they'd be highly visible. I just drove by them today
Yeah.
and I could see the garage being built and they stick out, the roof stuck out like a, or something.
Those roofs you will see.
Yeah.
Of course. So of course, but that's a good point. So thank you, Meg. In other words, the color of the panels are, a dark gray, right? Which is very similar to the color of those roofs. So you'll see them, right? But in other words, will you be able to see them compared to the roof? Like if you're really looking for them, but they will blend, because they're the same color. Right now, I'm anxious to side that clubhouse because I want to look done.
Yeah.
Because now it looks like that
Uh,
white paper, But
Okay.
I'm-
once the clubhouse is sided, it'll blend because that white paper won't stick out.
I really don't, uh, have anything against solar, but just looking at this here, okay, with the panels on the low garages, and you're not filling in this area up here in the roof of this area,
Well, because you know why? You know why, Counselor? Because they've got to face south is where the. sun
Yeah.
got
Right.
okay.
Okay, Diane, I think has some questions. Diane?
I do, thank you. I'm just wondering if the drawing is an accurate representation, because usually roof lines would have vent pipes coming through. So are there vent pipes coming up through the roof that would cause the configuration of the panels to not be,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think actually the best picture to answer that is the one that's on the screen. So that building already has those roof punctures in it. Correct.
Those
So the-
HVAC units are there as.
Yeah, I just look at my, oh, yeah.
Those
Mm.
HVAC units are installed, I believe you can see them from there, as the vents are as well. Now, keep in mind, many of our vents come out the side of the building,
Mhm.
but I do have roof vents as well, but they're in place. And as a matter of fact, I can get complicated with how they all come to one spot and those kind of things. That's part of the management of how do I get my coolant and different things up there. We made special plans for those so that I didn't interrupt the configuration of the solar.
and so I'm curious if you will be owning the panels or,
Yeah. So it's a good question, right? Because in order to sell electricity, right, you need to be a utility company. So our solar is being sold to Eversource, only Northeast Utilities. And in order to be awarded this project, I actually have been awarded 5 tariffs, it's called, 5 different solar projects. You need to compete for them. And why do you compete for them? Because Eversource will not buy electricity from anyone. They only will buy it if they're forced to by the government to purchase it. And the government says that our state needs to be 20% renewable energy by the year 2020. Well, of course, that's passed, and we're like 4.5%, way low. So the government penalizes Eversource 5 cents per kilowatt hour that we all pay because they're short. Then they passed another law that said they need to be 30% by 2030. Well, we're still 6%, right? So they put out a request for proposal to people to build solar. Part of that is our tariffs. We've won 5 tariffs for each building. Some of them we won 2 years ago. Some of them we won earlier this year because they only do small rounds. In other words, you need to fit into the round and you need to win or you be defeated. So we have 5 solar tariffs, and that's what these units are provided for. And in addition to every solar panel, every solar tariff, we have one for each building, which includes the garages. We also install 2 RV units, that charge cars. Same thing. We are required to make a place for the electric charged car to be charged. Of course, many people are requiring electric cars developed. So we will have 10 stations for electric cars, 2 behind each building. which is a part of the tariff.
Is that part of this application?
Well, I don't believe we need, zoning approval to, to put those, electric chargers in. I think I'm required by building code. So they're
Okay.
not part of this application, but they're part of the solar installation.
And what is the life expectancy of the panel?
Well, so they're supposed to live for 20 years, but everybody that builds them says they live much longer. You know,
That
we're
would be
gonna say
nice.
it's 20 years, but if they're longer, then we're gonna use them for as long as they last.
And so is there a plan for changing them out or disposing of them? The reason I'm asking is that I am under the impression that there's not a way to recycle the panels.
Well, I'm not sure about that, and
Yeah.
and not because I think there is, I don't, but the technology continues to change. I wanna.
In 20 years, hopefully there'll be a way if there's not.
Safeway.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
As long
Those
as
are
I'm
all
still
my
not paying for somebody else's. I have a question. They seem to be knitted quite close on the rooftop, so as far as maintenance go, do you have a sure travel path? Should one of the panels need maintenance?
Well, these are all really good questions, and this was, carefully thought out, right? So
I have no doubt.
there is a path and a protection for the man on the roof with, if they're closer than a certain amount of feet, there's a tie off for them. And,
Okay.
and it actually surrounds the panels. On the slanted roof, I think they're tie offs. So in other words, when they're maintained, if they need to go up there, there's a tie off. The most maintenance part of the solar array, and I have the name wrong, it's not a transformer, but it's like a transformer.
Yeah.
Where it's special for the solar.
Mhm.
Those are only things that break, and they're supposed to have a 10-year life. And they're, I don't know, $8,000 each, so you just, those are on the roof.
Okay.
But they're not on the slanted. This is the point I'm making. So they're on the roof that you can easily service.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Are there tax credits available, property tax credits available for the solar panels? Something, additional savings to pass on to the residents?
So, they were just done away with.
Oh, were they?
However,
Ah,
we're grandfathered in.
good.
Grandfathered in, and we purchased the equipment already in order to meet that grandfather date. I don't remember when it was, but I think it's October.
But you're safe.
I think it's October 7th, they actually passed a law that's called the safe harbor. And
Good.
we meet the safe harbor law so that, we can take advantage of the investment.
Good, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to ask Scott Hamel or Steve Biella if you have any questions or comments about this application.
Madam Chair, the ones in the tall building, you're not gonna see, but the other ones, for what it is, I'm not a fan of having that being visible. I understand that, you're only gonna see so much of it, but my comment is the ones on the top of the building, it is what it is. You're not gonna see them, but the other ones, I'm not a fan of that solar.
So you're talking about the garages then?
Yep, the garages, I just think when you're driving, you see this nice building and you see I guess what I'm trying to get at is we're gonna eventually see this everywhere. But as far as this
Yeah.
project and any other project, I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay.
Just the garages, though.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Steve Biella, do you have any comments?
I do not at this time, thank you.
Okay. And I think June, you had something that you wanted to share?
Well, my thought has to do with the garage panels, is that we do see it everywhere on homes, front and back across the street from where I live. And it looks to be a part of the package or agreement that you had with the company that's going to install them. And it has to be on the south side, and certainly that's a good use to draw the sun and energy in. I guess I don't know that we could do without utilizing it, since they have a package for the whole property, that it would be beneficial to utilize that space.
And
I just question one more time, is that you're doing 5 buildings like this. I would ask the solar people putting in these panels if they could stuff more on the top of the roofs of these 5 buildings and eliminate the south garage. And the north one's not gonna be seen, but the south garage, or eliminate some of the panels on the south garage, whatever panels you can stuff upstairs and still have space to walk around and do that stuff. You know, I think it makes sense to do that and eliminate some of the panels on that southern garage.
How many panels are on that garage? That most southerly garage?
They're all the
3. 1, 2, 3, 6. 18 times 3.
18 times 3 is 24 with the
60.
fuel carryover. Yeah,
50.
okay.
54.
Love the way we all do math a little differently.
All right. And somebody sure has a cell phone. Anyway, June, okay.
So how far is the distance of the southern garages from the actual highway or road? And is the property in between that what you owe? You talked about some shielding of
So-
plants or
so
something.
Again, interesting point. See, so if you recall, when we were permitted to do apartments back
Yes.
20 years ago, we were required that our residential was 400 feet back off the
Mm-hmm.
of the Berlin Turnpike. And in fact, those garages are they're more than 600 feet. And if you really look at it closely, you know, I've got a retention pond and, you know, additional landscaping that's all going there.
Yeah.
And it will grow up, you know, and it will, I hope it doesn't get, you know, too shaded because then we don't have any sun, right? But there's a lot going on there and, you know, I can ask our guys to move the panels around, but you know, let's be honest, you know, they'll move 3, 8.
So let me ask you,
They won't move.
a follow-up question.
Lean into that microphone.
I'm
It
sorry.
really doesn't pick up well.
I'm sorry, excuse me for that.
No, that's okay. Let me just ask a follow-up question to that. So could you then, if you were to retain the solar panels on this carport garage area, could you beef up the landscaping to the front closest to the turnpike to help shield it?
Yeah, I mean,
on the east side,
let-
because that,
let me say, I'm doing landscaping there right now. I'm putting in arborvitae and some red trees, and there will be more. You know, my trailer, I just moved my trailer under the sign,
Mhm.
right? And once the construction is done, the trailer will be moved and we'll put a row of plants there.
So maybe that's the compromise then, is to really beef up the entranceway, or I think you have a boulevard, or I'm not sure how. Yeah, so I would say
Yeah.
beef up everything along the turnpike. Go for it.
May we share that? And let me just point to this for a minute.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that too.
so I'm going to pass down, this was the PowerPoint from the night that the commission approved the project. I'm going to put I'll just point to them right here. You're going to see the 2 garages here. And you see some of the evergreens, but anyways, I'll pass. You want to pass?
Yeah,
it?
well, yeah, I was gonna say you can't see this garage, but you probably can see some of it. But over here, where your pumping station is and where my trailer is, you know, I'm sorry, over here, I'm just doing this landscaping right now. And they're gonna be 6-foot arborvitae. Now, they're gonna be 30 feet by the time, you know, we get old, but, you know, they're gonna grow.
Yeah.
Well, but
Yeah.
you're right. So in this area where we're showing some parking is really where my trailer is. And as we build this hotel, we'll be here in the next 4 or 5 weeks with that hotel application because we have, you know, signed this hotel land lease, and we also got approval from the franchisee for a Country Inn and Suites. We'll be back here with a full application shortly for that. And as this trailer moves, you know, we could put landscaping over there that may offset that. Yes, it will. Yeah, and you can pass that down.
All right.
And this is a split road here, right? It's 2 lanes each way or?
Two lanes, I'm sorry.
Talk on the thing, sorry.
No problem. So this is our ring road. There's 2 lanes coming in. And this comes out this way and then also this way. And this is, 2 ways here. It's 1 way here because they didn't let me have this cut. See the car's coming out, but it really only goes in. Goes in right and it goes out right. But this is a full intersection. Goes in this way and comes this way. So here, that's where my trailer is right now. And by the way, for, the last 2 years, it was up here where this retail building is. We clean this up now because we opened this building. We're going to open this building in November, right? So we're making this all clean. I'm putting landscaping out here and I'm doing landscaping here maybe next week, but not coming down to where my trailer is because we're still got a trailer there and, so forth. But as that trailer moves, we'll add landscaping here that'll hopefully offset what you're asking for.
Okay, anyone else?
I just want to make a suggestion. As I see in this map, this one here, because I didn't realize there'll be 2 parking garages on the south side. If you stuff more on the roofs of these 5 units and you stuff 6 of them up there on each building, that's 30 panels. And so even if you cut half of that panels off that first building, you go push it back, half the building. And, the next building down is probably not going to see anything from the highway anyway, so it's basically how they put those panels on the roofs of the big buildings, and have the same amount of panels, but, redistribute them.
Counselor Ziegman, well, we'll use my best efforts, but I want to, I don't want to be misleading sincerely.
No,
Guys,
I understand. I just want you to,
trying to get all the electricity they can up there and it's likely that I'll try to move them, but it's likely that there's no room.
and then, you've done a great job with the building. It's the best looking building of
Thank you.
multifamilies in town right now. I praise you on what you're doing there and the landscape, and I'm happy with it. But just try.
Okay. Maureen?
Oh.
May I ask
Yeah.
before Maureen? This is a site plan amendment, so we can consider the entire site. Is this correct?
Mhm.
This is the only thing they're asking.
I understand that. The request I have is that the billboard on the property be removed.
I think that was discussed during the initial application
It
and,
was, and now we have a new application.
and at the commission's pleasure to have that discussion with the applicant.
Was the billboard part of it?
The billboard was, the billboard,
It exists on the
right.
site. It's a nonconformity that the site has. I haven't reread that section of
I
the,
think we approved
about a
things
year.
before we discussed it last time. So now we have a new,
Remember, our billboards are leased to others, so it would be a real problem. We'd be a breach of our lease and just, I don't know how that happens really.
It would sure make your project a lot prettier.
mhm.
If it was
I understand and I appreciate that, but we have to remember, folks, there are billboards all up and down the Berlin Turnpike.
I know.
There's one.
Not in Berlin.
Actually, I rented one. My sign's on one, right, right
Oh,
next
yeah.
to my lot,
But that's nice that it's for your property, but once you're finished and up to maximum.
Yes, I don't own the billboard that I rent. I rented the one next door.
Make me crazy.
No, that's not on purpose because
I know.
I talked to the guys. I want to rent my own billboard, but I can't because it's committed. So, but the one next door became available, so I rented it.
Anyway.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's ugly.
I know. So commission,
can I make a couple of comments?
yes, please do.
So I just want a clarification that this application is for the residential phase, which we call phase 2 only, and not including the new buildings yet to be built. And to remind the commission, which, you, I think was already speaking, both these things I think were stated, but I just want to make sure that, this is a site plan application as opposed to a special permit. So there, criteria to be met with regard to, if it meets the regulations or not, if the application meets the regulations. And that there will be phase 3 and 4 buildings east or Berlin Turnpike side of the residential phase that'll be going up. So that hotel building will be considerably tall building. The other building, I believe, is only a 1-story building, the commercial building, but
Currently,
again,
it's proposed as 1 story.
as Mr. Diadio stated, it is, he'll work to substantiate the landscaping around that, as well, so that should, otherwise buffer. And I just wanted to note that the regulations and the POCD both encourage solar access and energy saving measures be utilized, particularly in residential installations.
Ask another question. I'm going to go back and revisit the billboard, if I may. So you're renting your neighbor's billboard because the one that's on your site that you have control over was unavailable and is leased out.
May I just comment on that I have control over? Well, my control is limited by the lease that I have with Lamar.
Okay,
Built the billboards 20 or 30 years ago. I don't know when they were built. They were before.
okay, yeah.
But they were built, they rent them from me, and I can't even go on my own billboard. So in
So-
other words, you're asking me to remove them, and I have
No,
my lease.
I'm
my-
at-
My billboard.
I just want to pursue that because I want to understand, when is the lease up?
I think they have 20 years.
20 years from when?
No. They've renewed this lease. It was 20 years before I bought it. And then, but I think I have 20 more years. I mean, at the end of that term, there may be an opportunity.
That's my question. Okay,
But was it the new lease in the last 4 years?
No, actually, honestly, I can't, I don't know that standing here. I need to look at it.
okay, all right, so we don't, so,
And it was renewed after the project was approved. It might be a little problem, but, just asking the question.
so is there a way for you to find out and alert Maureen to when
What-
the lease
I have
will
a
be up?
copy of the lease. I can certainly tell her when it expires.
Okay, that would be good. All right, yeah, okay, Mr. Dyken, this is going longer than I thought. Okay.
I will be brief.
No, that's okay.
No, I will be.
They have to do diligence.
Just wanted to ask staff a question about, I see engineering has no comment, fire marshal has no comment. Is it just because there is no concern, or
They say no, when we put no comment, it's because they have no concerns.
there's no concerns with constructing solar panels on all these buildings?
No,
Whether it's appropriate, whether it can handle them or not? I mean, I know this isn't quite, putting,
So this third-party review of his structures, that are through the building department. And so all that is looked at through the building permit. If they don't meet the standards when they do that, technical analysis during building permits,
Mhm.
then something else would change or it would be modified.
Understood, thank you. And when it comes to the police commission and board of police commissioners, no comment, is that coming from the police chief?
We send it downstairs and then the police chief and or the police commission determines the review.
And it doesn't go before the police commission.
That's-
I can tell you that for sure, but
police
is it
commission.
probably the chair of, I just want to make sure we understand that police commission's not looking at these things. If it's the chair or the police chief, maybe we should just state that from now on. Because we never have that on the agenda for the police commission. Yeah, I mean,
get
if
something
it's just the
from the-
police chief or the chair, that's fine. I just want to make sure
Usually
it's clear.
for most applications, it's the traffic officer, because that's really what they're looking at for most of the
Okay.
issues that you see in
But is,
site plans that have site, um,
is there a report that Commissioner Miller just made a good point. Is there some sort of document that comes with someone's signature, like the traffic officer saying no issue or something like that?
yeah,
That we
they
can have?
check off.
Okay,
They check it off and say no comment.
okay,
It's a check mark on, we send a form to multiple departments. We can share the form at some point, maybe later in the meeting, I'll share out that form. But it shows all the departments it goes to, and each department is checked. They get the set of plans and or like the police department gets the traffic report if there's a traffic report.
gotcha.
And then they send that form back to us
Mhm.
and either put a check mark next to no comment, or they make comments. Frequently from the police department, we might get a attachment of comments, much like our economic development director, he usually attaches a letter. The police department, will sometimes attach a letter.
Thank you very much for
And
that.
those are usually in your package. You should be getting.
Mhm.
Okay, well then, I missed it. I apologize for that. And
If it's
economic,
Attached, or she types them all up.
okay,
So she takes what they say and types them next to their department.
I got you. I see right here on the cover sheet. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yep,
The one
that's-
that's the one Ashley types up from the comments that come back from each department.
okay, yeah, no, I saw that. And just last thing, economic development pending. Do we know what the economic development's position is? I assume it's positive.
Directors. sitting
I
there.
would, I see him nodding. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Nodding in the affirmative,
I can see that, yes.
If it's,
just for the record.
they may not have sent back comments in time for the meeting.
I just don't know
Like,
how far.
Quite frequently, you'll see on those sheets, engineering will say pending, but I then read and we hand out
I-
his comments.
It was the only department, he was the only department pending, and I figured there was no objection from economic development, so thank you.
Okay, anything else
No, that's
from you,
all I
from
have.
staff? All right, what's the pleasure of the commission? Or any thoughts on this?
Make a motion to approve, with, trying to get some panels off that first garage. Take very good conservative effort to do that. Thank you. And, that's it, right? Anything, and all, staff comments be addressed.
Additional landscaping on the southeast.
Or, yeah, the additional landscaping in the southeast corner. Thank you.
Of the billboard.
And then,
We ain't going there far. We're trying
yeah,
that.
and trying to do something with the billboard to find out, well, I'm sorry. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, for the discussion?
Mhm.
Okay. So with the billboard, it's just for the record, I like it noted that we would like to know when the billboard comes up, the lease agreement. And that hopefully at that time, whether we're here, I'm here, you guys are here or not, that would then terminate. The billboard would then be brought, the billboard would then be removed.
No renewal.
No renewal on it. And that would be part of the,
I'm sorry, I can't agree to that.
oh. Okay,
Yeah, I.
you can let me know what the terms
I
are.
can't Upfront now agree that when the lease is up, I'm gonna tear that billboard down. I can't agree to that. Sorry.
Hmm.
I can let you know when the lease is up, which, like I say, it's 20 years from now, but I might not even be here 20 years from now.
Well, none of us may
No,
be
but
here,
In
but,
other words, what I'm saying is that you're asking me to agree to something many years in advance that was not a part of our application at all. The billboard was approved. But
But-
now, because I'm putting solar panels on the roof, because I'm working the way that you're suggesting that I am, energy efficient, and, I mean, this is a huge effort to put these solar panels up. It's
Mhm.
taken me 5 years to do this. And now, because I'm putting the solar panels up, I have got to be burdened to remove a billboard that I have no control over right now. It's not a fair request. So I'm just kindly asking
yeah,
that you modify that addition to the motion. But glad to provide the information, but I hate to have this addition that I'm forced to remove a billboard that I don't have any control over.
okay.
Sorry.
Hold it. I appreciate your honesty, but hold that thought. Maureen, may I ask a question?
Actually, I have the answer.
Yeah, okay, I don't know,
Not sure.
about this wayward billboard. So if he owns the property, he has a lease for the billboard, so, and it's a non-conformity to the use of the property. So when the lease comes up, does he have to go back to planning and zoning? Because it's a non-conforming use, so,
So that is why when we, have approvals that have nonconformities on the lot that can be changed. You know, obviously where a building is, if it's a non-conforming setback or something comes down, it can't be changed. But, sometimes with uses, we'll ask the applicant to agree to abandon the use at the time, but it's, my understanding that it's not advised that the commission can compel that. You can't compel a property owner to abandon their nonconformity. However, with new approvals, there are times where you might say, there's a non-conforming, three-family house they're gonna rebuild. So they're giving up the three-family in order to create a commercial property. Instead, they're giving up the residential use of a property. Something like that. And you usually, the commission can usually, ask the applicant to agree to abandon. But not for the commission to go down.
I'll be honest,
Understanding.
yeah.
Law not be.
Yeah, because I certainly don't want to stop you from doing your project. I'm just trying to think further down the pike, how to better the development. And billboards aren't very pretty. I know that they exist and all that stuff. But I don't know.
Billboards weren't there, I would completely understand your concern.
Yeah,
They are there and it's,
it's tough because, you know, I drive the Berlin Turnpike, but I look at the turnpike, I see your development, and I check it out to make sure that we're on track and it's gonna be nice, and then I see this billboard. Now, the one that advertises your business and what's going in there, River Gate or whatever, Riverwalk, okay, thank you, is one thing, but then you followed up by another billboard saying Chick-fil-A.
see, honestly, Madam Commissioner, when, I'm not even on my own billboard, I'm on the neighbor's billboard.
I understand that.
And so their whole idea of off-site advertisement, which is what a billboard does, right? That's what I compelled Lamar, I want to go on my own lot. Just, look, I can have one right here. I can't give you those billboards because they're committed, 3, 4, 5 years in advance, So, I'm interrupting with his business, because, he sells billboard advertising.
Okay.
And that's why I'm not trying to be a knucklehead about it, but,
No, I mean, we're trying to find a
be
common
honest.
ground. Okay,
As you can see, our project, a handsome project, and we'll continue to make it very nice. I've got 14 people that signed leases. They're all great people. Clubhouse is gonna come online in November-ish, I hope. And I'm gonna have a beautiful walkable community that they're gonna be able to walk out into the walking path along the river and come back up along the C-store. In the model today, I walked down to the C-store to get a sandwich and walked back and called my guys arguing about landscaping on the sidewalk and make it look better,
okay,
And so we're gonna make a beautiful community.
okay.
I just don't have the control over the building.
I understand. All right,
Yeah, and Madam.
so
Chair,
yes,
I agree with staff. It would be, we cannot compel them to abandon
yeah,
a non-conforming use. It's a separate use entirely in any event. Plus, we're talking about compelling them to do so 20 years from now. That's completely unenforceable.
okay. All right, anyone else?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
I mean, personally, for me, I have no problem with the billboard. They're pretty standard along the Berlin Turnpike. So I mean, if Tim was willing to amend his motion, I'd be happy to amend my second.
I don't think the motion actually included it.
It didn't,
I thought he
No.
said at the very end, he whispered.
He said at the end, no, we're not going to do that.
Oh, okay.
Want to restate your motion?
Yeah, why don't
and
you
you-
restate the
oh,
motion? So,
Motion was approved, with this,
for the record.
for the record that they will try to move some of those panels off the first garages and the southern part of those garages. And
Subject to staff.
subject to staff comment, that's what it was.
Landscaping on the south.
Oh, yeah.
Explain.
Landscaping on the south,
Enhanced landscape.
hand side, landscaping.
Landscaping is fine. I'm glad to do that. That's within my control and I'll land.
All right.
daylight.
And I'll be watching, so don't be missing.
I'll be glad to meet you out there to pick a plant.
Okay.
Do you want Brian to second?
Pick a
All right.
plan, name it
And
planning commission.
Ryan, you're going to amend the
that sounds
second?
Good, I'll amend my second to that.
Then further discussion. Then all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Yeah. So moved.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Sorry to push you through the ringer. Okay, all right, so next is the public hearing, but I think we had this open, so there's no call. So it's a text amendment application of Robert and Sharon Fontanella to add a new subsection to Special Regulations Agriculture 11C9 to expand the definition of agriculture to allow single-family dwellings. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had some time to look at this. And I think that last time, just, just to revamp, last time, Commissioner Jorsey did make a point that perhaps we were approaching this the wrong way and maybe we should look at the whole agricultural text. And to see if there was anything that we could change or manipulate within that. Am I stating that sort of loosely but correctly? I'm hoping.
Well, so, yes, I think we do need to look at the entire agricultural reg, but I thought that the conclusion of the meeting or this portion of the meeting last time was that there was going to be some edits made to the text amendment based on what our conversation was. But I have not seen a cleaned up version of that.
Well, unfortunately, I was out of the office a good portion of the last 2 weeks, so I was not able to re-edit. But knew that the commission was kind of trying to determine the direction they wanted to take and thought you'd be thinking about that. So wasn't sure what direction I would really get to on it. It was a little confusing as I listened to some of it.
I think it was that we were going to do an amendment for this application right now, but then address all the agriculture areas
date.
at a later date, yeah.
So the discussion last time was that we wanted to allow a single family home, but that if for some reason the farm failed or property was to be subdivided, that there would be a clause that would prevent the additional lots from having additional residential structures built. Yeah, there was, I thought
Yeah.
there was one that you were working on
Or
during the meeting.
Yeah.
About whether we can split up quickly.
So Diane, let me just have a conversation with you, just so we don't sit here in silence, but so if you had the 10-acre, if you had the 10-acre lot and a family owned the 10 acres and there was already a house on part of that 10 acres, then basically you're allowing for the second house on the other half of the 10 acres. So are we technically subdividing the property then? We're subdividing,
it's-
or is it a 10-acre lot?
The original proposal was for a single residential structure
Yeah.
on a lot.
Well, but there's one lot. And it already had a house on it.
And the,
No? Okay,
No.
all right. I'm
Uh,
just
There was no house on the lot. It was 10 acres. It was originally. And they want to put one single family home on it. If there's a one single family home on it already, that's it.
Okay,
But then came in for someone that has a 4-acre lot. Can they
Yeah.
put a house on it? Okay. And I've been thinking about that in the zone. That either we say, it came in as 10 acres. Either we say anything lower than 10 acres has to come in for special permit for one single family home, so that 4-acre would get it under a special permit.
yeah,
Or we could bring it down to 4 acres, and anything smaller than 4 acres has gotta come in for a special permit, you know, but, I think that's the option we got now, really, but
I
it
don't
w-
think we're at a point that you want to be changing. I think the discussion about reducing the acreage is best saved for when we discuss the overall
yeah,
amendment or the overall agricultural regulations, because making that change is going to affect everything.
yeah. All right.
I think I agree with our commissioner here,
I mean, Commissioner
Dorsey.
Dorsey, yeah.
Because we're going to reflect to the other agricultural lots. And we need to study those agricultural properties to see what the acreage on those are and what, are we going 10 acres, 4 acres, 5 acres, whatever we're going with. It's going to see how those other agricultural properties do it. So this one section of property now, which is
POD.
POD.
POD, I knew there was a D on it.
Mhm.
It's right now.
So what I'm hearing is you want, to include language that, which is on that shared screen in the POD zone. Single family dwelling in the POD zone. One single family dwelling shall be permitted so long as the following requirements are satisfied.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry, that should have just been printed out and distributed, and I didn't even.
no, that's
I
okay.
didn't
You,
even remember it was
you had
on
stuff
that-
going.
literally, that one.
And it would be a special
I
permit.
didn't remember.
Would
we
this
got
be a
that far.
special permit?
No, they're as of right. I believe this is all as of.
so
That
existing
section.
lot, yeah.
Go.
Shall be permitted as long as it finds primary use of parcel.
Yep.
There's still,
Yeah, but it's crossed out. Crossed out.
But
I'm
it's
sorry,
still,
why not?
um,
So yeah, in the special regulation.
yeah,
still be holding to the bulk table.
Right, and then it's which.
yeah, it's a
bulk table.
special regulation, so. Well, that looks,
It's under agriculture as opposed to under the POD zone, but yet it's a use only allowed in the
Is there a-
POD zone.
So that one would apply to both the 4-acre and the 10 acres
yep,
Right.
without getting into too much of the nitty gritty.
okay.
And
So we
I
put the existing
thought that
lot.
was the intent.
Hint, yeah,
What?
I thought that that was the intent, that any lot in the POD zone would be allowed a single family house.
Already exists.
Not if it,
Is there a minimum
so the
acreage?
4.8 acre lot in the POD zone, I came away from the last meeting with the understanding that a single family house could be built on that lot.
Because it's.
because it's in the POD
Yes.
and because we're allowing for one single family house on a POD lot.
So.
Yeah.
But that's where that's why I suggested adding on an existing lot, because then it's not a lot
That's, yes,
is then further divided. Because then it could be.
yes.
So that way, one way you could rephrase that is an existing lot that does not already have a single family structure on it being used for agriculture.
Well, the primary use is the agriculture.
I know, but you see what I'm saying? You guys are worried about subdivision.
Well, that's why we put in the POD
Yes.
single, because that was.
One
concern
single
of Ryan.
One
Once
single,
it's an
yeah.
Existing lot, but if
Yeah.
the existing lot already had single family on it.
Well, then
And-
that's what it would apply, right?
Doesn't apply it to. that
Well, it
one
would
house.
actually be a non-conforming.
That would-
Non-conforming permitted use. Yes.
Actually, yeah, make it go up.
Don't double talk me.
And make it conform.
I think
yeah.
Commissioner Rogan's point, I understand his point that we want to get this, we want to make sure we're not losing track of something here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't want subdivisions along
yeah,
Railroad Highway.
But I mean, that does look good. I like, it looks.
yeah, that looks pretty
Looks
clean.
pretty,
What do
pretty
you
clean and
think?
good, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
Any further subdivision of an existing lot requires of an existing lot requires a restrictive covenant that no additional dwelling units be allowed on those newly created lots. I think I lost how to write that. I just got the
You were,
fact you were discussing a restrictive covenant, but I think that was part of the sentence that we were gonna.
Says put a single.
I don't-
family house.
also on it saying one single family.
The lot is an existing.
It says that you can put a single family house in any lot that's in the POD. The existing smaller lots already got a house on it. So
Shall be no.
If you already have that lot of 10 acres, does that mean, the way that's written, does that mean you can put a second house on it?
For residential purpose.
If you have adjacent 10
Would you
acres
subdivide?
and you're
Yeah,
farming,
Jason,
yeah.
Prohibiting.
So you're,
I just don't
if you
see
have
the-
agriculture as your primary, you're
many
able to have a.
conversations.
My
Okay,
question
yep,
is though,
Sorry,
my question is, why would you be subdividing if you're not allowed to construct it?
no,
Well, so
Something,
Divide for agricultural purposes. That's a tool that can be done.
and there are other uses that would continue to be allowed.
Yeah, and there are all the other uses that are allowed.
well, then maybe we should be specific then.
How to be.
any subdivision, any future subdivision. or farming
Any
zone.
further subdivision of an existing lot requires a restrictive covenant that no additional dwelling units. I mean, I get, that seems to say it right there. I was just
Yeah.
wondering if that would
Yeah.
bar anyone from subdividing, but to staff's point, it wouldn't.
No.
There are other reasons to subdivide.
Yeah, they
What
sub-
we're
they
looking at is the minimum lot size, which we both think is 10 acres, but we're double checking.
In the
Regardless,
POD?
in that
That
zone.
makes sense.
The lot, minimum acres of time. You previously been granting residential property for subdividing, so we would
Mhm.
expect that.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this and a residence property? A residence property can have a farm if they wanted to, there's no difference.
Alexa's getting feisty.
I liking that. Why, she's growing into her own. Isn't that nice?
Acres, but lots may be 2 acres in size or larger if part of a total site development of 10 acres or more, which is developed in accordance with a single unified plan. So that's, if you were doing a POD development, or actually any allowed development there, you could divide down to 2 acres. But it has to be part of an overall plan. So I am thinking, in order to make that not remain confusing as it applies to this.
So is the POD a 10 acre piece then?
POD is 10 acres, but allows 2 acres so for that office development that was envisioned for there,
Okay,
they could have divided into 2 acre lots if it was part of a 10 acre complex, 10 acre or more complex.
okay.
Yeah, much like to use Mr. Diadio's as an example, he has 10 acre minimum, but has separate lots that create those 10 acres. Order to have, pad sites really, but they're actually separate lots because the hotel wants to own their own lot. The gas station needs to own their own lot.
Yeah.
So they're smaller lots, but they're part of a unified plan.
The what?
You need 10 to start.
You're the lawyer.
Trying to. Maureen, what are the permitted uses in the POD other than agriculture? I was gonna say, because if it's just, but
Yeah.
it's important to know what that other not much is.
Office development.
So the permitted use by right is agriculture. Actually, this has been amended, so let me look at it. Edited.
Yeah, I mean, it reads pretty clearly if you just,
You
can
just
you,
re-
can you just delete out all the crossed off stuff so we can read it?
Yeah, can we reduce it? Can you just accept the changes?
Make it a little easier to read?
Okay, no, that's okay.
I like the cross stuff and it
Primaries.
Permitted uses are agriculture, commercial greenhouses,
Oh, yeah, of course.
and then we have special permit uses, which are the professional offices, including facilities to house data processing equipment, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
All right, so it's not gonna.
all right,
That's the problem on the BLP.
It's just that one line about the primary and required agriculture activity and operation and maintain. I'm just wondering what happens if that doesn't happen. You know, what other uses someone might take advantage of.
yeah,
So, okay, thank you.
all right,
Exactly.
okay.
And I think that will attract
Anything?
agricultural people, there are people who want to have their horses with them and stuff like that.
Oh, that'll never go away.
Yeah,
Everybody loves ponies.
I don't want to know the people who don't.
and from the Berlin Buzz, there's plenty of people who want chickens, so.
All right,
Too many.
But we want to change that restricted covenant, right?
okay.
Right? Wanted to. You can right click it and it'll,
What do you think, Diane?
I think that sentence we were talking about changing, I just haven't figured it out yet. I believe you had a
Yeah.
suggestion for that part.
However, there shall be no further subdivision of an existing lot unless a restricted.
Unless.
Is adopted.
So instead of any,
prohibiting
put
additional
however,
Dwelling units.
however.
And then notwithstanding the area, I think that should be subsection D, I think.
Hold on one second. However, further subdivision of an existing lot.
Start its own.
So there's no issue with putting in the text amendment a requirement that there be a restrictive covenant. That's not like, there's no issues there of, I mean, there's this concept of basically, I think it's called undue burdens on alienability. I forget the term exactly where, there's nothing like, there's no issues like that, like, saying, oh, you must deed it with a restrictive covenant, like in the zoning requirements.
It's not
You can do that.
compulsory, so you have the option.
You have the, right, I just don't want to do something,
Specify that
yeah.
you have.
My concern with that is with that restrictive covenant language and the way it's written is what if the regulations change? And those lots have a restrictive covenant? Is there an out? Unless otherwise permitted by these regulations?
Would
Can
just
we
be
just say that?
simpler.
Hmm.
At the end of that. Restrictive covenant, B. Unless otherwise.
We were talking about ponies.
Comma, lot, comma. C,
In what?
at the end of lot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Comma.
Otherwise. Everybody's right.
Yeah, can you write that? She'd have better wording. I'm sorry. Oh,
Making complicated with the, covenant, housing, but something. We do a lot of property, big, half the land.
I would think so.
Private, or that agricultural. Something. About
Use.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna get rid of what I just typed. That's fine.
I think that might
The-
be the same issue as the restrictive covenant where if the regulations in the world changes, suddenly, you know, I mean, it could be 100 years from now, you know, if the zoning still exists in our society, that
Sleep over these decisions.
you know, there's a lot of regulations written in the 50s that we're reading and we go back and we go, oh, they didn't see 25 coming, you know, and so trying to make sure that something, that wording is.
Yeah,
relevant.
usually covenants are a deed restriction of house size,
They use it
Uh,
for all sorts of things.
house size,
Well,
style.
it just seems.
I don't like covenant.
So when so when we're talking about agricultural, Brian had brought up, somebody could bring their horses with them, that's still considered agricultural, correct? So I'll pose this to you. If somebody wanted to do a veterinarian thing out there,
I don't know that that fits under our agricultural regs. It may, I don't know if veterinarians are in.
I don't know if veterinarians, I mean, if somebody wanted the POD or. I'm just thinking outside the box a little bit.
Don't think veterinarians are in our agricultural zone.
Well, maybe we ought to look at that too,
And the only other.
because they'd have more space anyway.
With regard to this is only because I've spent a lot of time thinking about our accessory dwelling units. That by saying an additional dwelling, and I want to call this to your attention, it's not, I don't have an opinion one way or another, but that would prevent a single family home in that zone from having a
Accessory dwelling.
accessory dwelling unit
Mhm.
in-law, although our in-law doesn't require
Oh.
relatives, but
But that's correct, because it's allowed in the residential ones.
When you do your
So-
house, you'd have to plan it out.
Yeah, you'd have to plan it out accordingly,
okay.
but it wouldn't
Just
be
wanted to
allowed.
make Sure, that,
Yeah.
that everyone would be aware that that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, would not be allowed.
okay. I don't know, we might want to, all right. So,
Give us that little bit of a minute.
yeah, we do want to keep it as simple as possible. We don't
Yeah.
want to overburden everybody.
And so
I was just curious with the veterinarian
Yeah.
thing.
wordsmith that for a minute, then we maybe visit the setbacks. Because that was something that was
Well, the
the
minimum
staff
front is
report
75 feet.
provided you a chart, and I did put one thing wrong on the chart. I put 10 where I don't even understand why the 10 is there for POD and OT and OT2. I think that's the acreage, not the frontage. It's not a 10-foot frontage. I typed it wrong.
No,
Is that the
it's 200 feet, which should be the same right
as
across
the
the board.
POD, right?
Right, yeah, That's all the same.
Yeah, nothing's,
So keep that.
But if they have a smaller lot than a 10 acres, would the side and rear, the front side and rears be more difficult? For instance, most of those lots you can see on the map that I provided you, if you all brought it back with you.
Yes.
Well, you
Here.
really can't see where the houses are, but the houses are very close on all these smaller lots.
Mhm.
You know, they're set back from the road, minimal distance.
but they already,
Because they're 1 acre lots for the
Yeah.
most part. The existing non-conforming lots are primarily in the 1 acre, 1 to 2 acre range. So the quandary I posed to you was, did you want to, for the dwelling, replicate the, I would lean towards the R86 zone, which is across the street.
I actually think the R86 has, greater, I think it's like
That's-
250 for street frontage for the R86.
Not the frontage, because the
Oh.
frontage is that would be an existing lot anyway, so we
Yeah.
can't change the frontage. Because those would be existing lots, would be
Yeah,
whatever their nonconformity is. It's more the front yard setback.
oh, okay.
So in the R86 zone, it's 75 feet. In the POD zone, it's 200. You're taking away a lot of
Here.
the farm capacity.
And you're
if
making
you
it very,
put The house into the
expensive.
middle of
Yeah.
the lot.
that makes a lot of sense.
Which is why, I kind of gave you that chart of what the R43 is, the R86.
Plus, if someone needs to do a 200-foot driveway, that could add a lot to the building project.
Yeah, it would add to the expense, but I was actually more concerned with the continuity of the farm acreage being available behind the house, so to speak, or somewhere.
Okay, it's an exception.
Yeah.
It's a
5-foot setback right now.
Yeah, because it's exceptions for industrial development, abutting residential, then it moves to 200 on the POD.
She's saying lower it to 75. or
Well,
something.
it is basically 75 right now.
That's what he's proposing,
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
but I wanted you to think about those and see if, I think we might have accepted the change.
exceptions for industrial.
Is that how you proposed it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's if they're putting the house there, I mean, obviously, they're gonna want as much privacy as possible, so the minimum would be 75 feet. But if they were building um, uh, greenhouses or something, we'd have to move them back further.
Yeah, the green.
200.
A whole different,
Yeah, they
We have a
have a different,
they.
I think for
own
the,
set of much like this.
but I think for the
greenhouse
home,
Section has its own set of criteria that fall to the greenhouse.
yeah. But I think for a home, 75 minimum. I mean, I look at my property now and I wish I could send it back further. Further than 75.
Do we have to, and I'll pose this to the attorney, do we have to, if we qualify
on.
it for the existing properties? I did not put the frontages along there for any of the ones that are non-conforming.
Thank you,
Do we
Yeah.
wanna-
Farms just don't conform.
No,
Yeah.
because they're really close to the Chamberlain Highway, but they've been there for a while.
Used to be a dirt road.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
so saying a minimum street frontage of 200 feet would not preclude any of those existing lots that have less than 200 feet from getting
there are,
to the house?
No, no, it does.
That's what that does. That would
That's what that
prevent
does.
those houses.
wait a minute,
The width of the lot.
it's got to be 200 feet.
No, well, these lots are not 200 feet.
There's only one lot. Yeah, which one is the,
The 10-acre lot, the 17-acre
I think a
lot. they
few
don't
of
have
them are.
200 feet.
no, I think
I-
the 17
I
has.
did look at
Yeah.
some of them.
They
They
do.
all do?
Yeah. It's deceptive, but that's a lot of land.
The 10 acres got 200 foot here at the street.
Because you-
17 acres got 200 feet. Just looking at.
I'm just getting to
Yeah, I
it.
got that like 8 photos.
Almost there, people.
No, it's not your, I'm just, I'm trying to wrap my head around this
The only
whole
one
thing.
that looks like it.
Just when I thought we had it locked down.
0.8 has 300 feet. Right.
Seven-
Mr. Bostrom's has over 200.
What about the,
So then I just have to. So then it
Okay,
would
hang on.
preclude those.
Ooh.
So then
Chamberlain Growers?
Ella's, both of theirs, one of theirs has 240, the other has 220,
I mean, is there,
or 580. Yeah, we've got plenty there. 44C, that has a lot of restrictions on it. The one that,
okay,
yeah, the Connecticut growers, right? Is that what they're called?
yeah,
Chamberlain growers.
whoever,
He
yeah,
only has 87 feet.
yeah, but he's already there.
You might be able to. For variance.
Is that this one here, the Connecticut Growers? Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
they
he's
have
got a
plenty.
long road that goes and he's
They have
all
Oh,
the
no,
way
that's
Just
Connecticut
220
Growers, right?
feet.
These two are Connecticut Growers, and this is the lot that doesn't have the,
frontage.
7.
frontage. He only has 87, and it has no house on it. He has a two-family on it right next door.
Yeah,
Oh, that has a one family. All the others have more than
That's,
the rear lot,
than that
yeah.
Yeah.
frontage.
how
Well,
does rear work? How do rear lots work with frontage?
Well, they're existing, that's
rear lots, but
existing,
they're
that's
only
grandfathered
20.
in.
I think
right?
it's 20 feet. But then they have to be 3 times the underlying zone.
Oh,
So. Anything else?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Dyken.
you could probably give them a waiver if they wanted to.
Yeah, they can come and ask for that to be amended, or they can,
Ask for a waiver.
or a variance.
So looking at what's proposed here, then cleaned up, you can just kind of turn around. What are we thinking?
mean, concept, I think this is fine. I think we should think about it a little bit more. But in concept, I think we're definitely where I think we need to be, but it's a lot to, there's so much on the line right now that I would suggest we don't make a decision tonight, but then again.
So is your motion then to table this or
I
to
don't have to.
continue?
Sure.
Oh, that's right.
But in concept, I think this is fine, but there's just so much on the line here. I like to think about.
You wanna see if public has anything on it?
In the public too.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. So taking testimony from the public, is there anyone here who wishes to address the commission regarding this application, either for or against it? Okay, hearing none. Anyone online? Scott Hamel, you have any comment?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Back to the commission.
Um,
What do you,
For the purpose of it right now, I think it's okay. Sorry, for the purpose right now, I think it's okay, seeing that we're going to address all the agriculture, properties. And those will go over all the pieces. Because I don't think POD's, correct for that area. So I think it's, the way it's designed right now would be okay, and any other thing, any lots that may not be in conforming to these regulations always come in for a waiver or site plan amendment or whatever.
okay, is that a,
I make a motion to approve the way it is. No,
no,
oh, you don't want that. Well, we're in public, really.
I want, well, okay. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Okay. Mr. Dyken, is there anything you want to share, or Ms. Miller, or whatever? But do we want to?
If there's no additional edits and you just want to digest what we have, I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion to close the public hearing. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Rogan has the second.
That's fine.
Further discussion this time? Then all those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. Okay. That's closed and moving on. Deliberations, don't go too far. The deliberation is for the text amendment for the application of Robert and Sharon Fontanella to add new subsection to Special Regulations Agricultural 9C, 11C9, to expand the definition of agriculture to allow for a single-family dwelling. All righty. All right, Commission? Any thoughts?
Is there any way you could print that out for us, just so we could have a cold, hard copy in our
We're
hand?
trying right now.
Okay.
Already what we're working on.
The thing of it is that I understand, that, I think we've melted this down as much as we can. However, I just want to make sure that in the scheme of things, that we don't lose sight of the fact that we really do want to look at these agricultural, the overview and the whole text, the whole, just reopen it.
Can we set that for discussion down the road to month, 2 months, whatever,
I do think it will, we'll probably want to hire the consultant or a consultant again to work on that, and that was gonna, I think agriculture was the next section that we had kind of laid out with POCD as, after the commercial zones got looked at, you just finished all those in the spring. And I think the agriculture was next on the priority list from
okay.
the standpoint of the POCD.
I know agriculture was on the priority list, but then we gotta bring it into this zone, take this zone, eliminate POD and,
Right.
and
those
go
will
to.
be
Well,
part of that.
yeah, it'll-
Be part of the package.
Yeah.
Looking at what zones are affected. And not just the agriculture section of the regulations, but those zones in which the town seeks to encourage agricultural uses to thrive. So. yeah,
And
let's
how
have a
complicated it is to,
committee to talk to,
okay, so,
to start thinking about an RFP or something, or.
Yes.
Together.
yeah, let's try to do that, because I don't want this to get too far away from what we're doing here tonight. And also, when we do that, let's look at, when we look at the overlay, let's look at maybe a special making it like a special use, maybe like a veterinarian use or something.
Yeah, because we need to do something. Agriculture is
Yeah,
clearly struggling.
Yeah, and I think there's, it's tough to find a veterinarian, but I think that would be,
Well,
especially if people love ponies, or horses or
And
something.
you knew what you meant.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
I
But anyway.
would also comment that, if you want to, pause deliberations, and decide whether you'll do deliberations after executive session, you could do that as well tonight if you wanted to, or you can just postpone it to the next meeting. It is the next thing on the agenda,
Well,
the deliberations of that text, but you could reorder the agenda. if
Oh,
you
I see what you're saying, but I think we want to,
decide once
I
you
don't wanna-
I think we want to address
We
it
can-
because we have
we
a
can
public here.
we can postpone till next meeting
Mhm.
if commissioners want to digest.
Just throwing it out as an.
Okay, well, I think it would be a question of, is it something that we want to, on this particular application, is there something that we want to decide this evening?
I don't see anything that we haven't discussed. And we modified this application to what we had up there. I think it meets the application at this time. So anything else would come in when all the agriculture comes in, So, I make a motion to approve as we had it up on the
Well, we're
screen. That
probably
says,
getting a
Well, we're
full
go-
hard copy.
We're going to get a cold copy,
get the
so,
hard copy. Okay, then we'll wait.
so you'll
Just to-
withdraw your motion at this
I
point.
didn't make all, but
Okay, all right.
Just so we can give it one last look over. I'm comfortable on working on it tonight.
Yeah, especially if we're going to be getting a consultant to work over the
Yeah.
entire
then
agricultural.
I make a motion to take this deliberation and put it to the end of the agenda.
Well, no,
We can look
no,
at it.
no, I
She
I
is.
don't wanna make
don't
them-
think I
Oh,
want.
here she comes now, okay.
I'm not going to make people wait any longer than they have to.
I know, we don't know.
Yeah, I hope not. I have to text my husband,
There's a-
tell him we're coming on.
There's a lot on that executive session right there, from what I can see, so I don't wanna do that with people waiting.
Hmm. Okay. Hot off the press.
I have a question.
Yeah, B?
Yeah, so what happens if that's not maintained? You tear the building down?
No, but they can't subdivide to build a residential subdivision. That was the whole intent.
I think it just doesn't read.
That's my, yeah. the
Primary required agriculture activity and operation of routine. I think there's one too many ands in there.
The one question that comes to mind for me is, does the agricultural activity have to exist before the single-family house is
Yes.
built? Because the agricultural activity is the primary use.
What, isn't that what C says, the lot?
Yes.
Existing, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand your point, Commissioner George C. about the, further subdivision, but I think that's. I think B is problematic, technically speaking.
D,
B.
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 'Cause what happens if they abandon? It's maintained, you know, in other words, it's a precondition, but then it's also a continuing condition. What happens if it's abandoned? How do you know?
What's abandoned? The agricultural? Yeah, well, then you have a standing home on a large parcel of property that the guy mows. Or he brings in a pony to,
Or let's
it
overdo.
down.
It says agriculture activity. What if it's just dead grass and there's no ponies, there's no corn, there's no chickens?
Becomes a non-conforming property.
I don't even think it's non-conforming. Well, it's non-conforming in the sense of it doesn't conform. But it's not illegal, it's no longer a legal use,
Yeah.
was my concern.
But the problem is that if you have I see it is that if you have agriculture, and let's say I'm gonna use an example, growing fig trees.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you decide that nobody in your family wants to grow fig trees anymore, and they all fall into disarray, and you're out of the fig tree business. So now you just have a parcel of property with a house on it, but it doesn't mean that the agricultural has gone away. I mean, the only use for the property is the agricultural. So maybe you start planting orange trees instead.
Oh, yeah, but that's what you would have to do under this regulation.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Something
but you wouldn't be forced into a quick action. I mean, if you went 5 or 10 years without doing anything, the property would just stay the property.
Yeah.
I understand, I'm just reading it, says primary and required agriculture
But I don't know,
and operation are maintained, and that's a condition of allowing one single-family dwelling on the property.
yeah. I guess my point is like,
For their site plan application, we could go over what their agriculture plans for the property are.
And tell them, what
And
are you,
make
what's
that-
your plans for the next 20 years or 10
yeah,
years?
And make
because
that
it might be somebody just growing grapevines or something for
mean,
a winery.
That could be part
It
of the.
could be a hay field and they're using it, cutting hay for agriculture.
Yep.
Hey, and
So if they stop planting plants and they make it a hay field and they cut it twice a year,
So I think that worked. I mean,
What's
they're
free
gonna,
time?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, all that is true. That's just, I'm making sure that, okay,
Yeah.
I understand, everything you're saying, I agree with. That would comply with B.
When they're pulling their permits or doing their site plan, they just have to explain what their agricultural.
that's what I would
We have to
do.
be
I'd make it hay
confident that
fields.
that's actually gonna be the use going
And
forward,
have farmers
Well,
cut
like
it,
that,
cut it and pay me.
Agriculture, it could just be hay.
and which is fine.
It's no
Thank you.
no problem for me.
Jennifer. You're sitting there quietly, but I'm gonna just ask you if there's anything, because you're part of staff.
B, the primary required agricultural.
And operations are maintained.
I think it's fine, actually. I think it's fine. Yeah. I have no problem with the text, and frankly, my conversation with other commissioners, I understand now the point that's being made. They would have to essentially, we'd have to be confident that that's what's going forward. It would be, it's gonna be hayed, or it's gonna be some other agriculture use going forward.
And I think the people who'd be interested in those lots are gonna be those
Question.
type of people.
Right.
Question to Jennifer or to Maureen. On that item B, if you struck and operation, so it reads the primary required agricultural activity is maintained.
And
Need primary and required agricultural activity. You're emphasizing it's required.
I actually think, I have to say, I think all the ands are actually appropriate in there.
So the primary and required agricultural activity and operation?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Commission?
Activity operation, about the same. Cause
Yeah. well,
whatever agricultural activity is going to be operation.
I don't think it matters whether the and operation is there or not.
Okay,
I think it's fine the way it is.
I think it's the way it was proposed,
Yeah.
just the way it got left, I think. Yeah,
okay,
to define the.
Yeah.
Oh, I-
Alrighty.
yeah, it looks good to me.
all right. So that being said,
You have a motion, right?
we have, I don't know, I'm gonna go ask for a motion from Mr. Zigma. Who's willing to give a motion?
I make a motion to adopt the text amendment as read now, with all staff concerns.
And,
That's it.
I think so.
All staff concerns to be addressed. Well, I don't know, there's always that.
Whether you approve the text or the text as edited, there's really no qualifications for, no conditions on a text amendment. That would be typical. You'd
So
be
no
editing
additional
or not.
edits.
No additional edits at this time.
For example, in B, are the words "and operation" being eliminated?
I think that's,
I think that's, to me, that's illegal.
well, the definitions give you the agricultural purposes already. So that all those purposes in the special regulation agriculture is being addressed. So agriculture activity is those items up on top. So, and I don't think the operation are maintained means that much, but
All right, so what, the motion? so can
I-
I kind of
I'll,
move The motion?
my motion will be,
Second.
include the elimination of and operations are maintained on B.
I think you mean,
You
I
have to
think you.
Deletion,
wait.
the deletion of that,
I-
the deletion of that,
Wait,
sorry.
the deletion of the words "and operation," and then you would be changing the "are" to "is." The activity
It would
is
be
maintained.
Required agriculture activity is maintained.
Is maintained, yep, that's correct.
I just don't see what the downside is to keeping it in. I mean, activity and operation,
That's the same word.
It's, I don't even, you know what, though? It sounds redundant, but it may not be. Activity and operation are technically two, operation might be an official use where activity just might be casual. I don't know. It just seems to me like this sentence is covering us very well,
Okay.
in my view.
I don't have either.
this is our lawyer.
As you're saying, I
We
really
have
don't
one
have
lawyer.
any
Do we
other.
have another lawyer?
The applicant's attorney, I think, I think he's got this.
we have the applicant's attorney and we have our attorney.
And our town attorney as well.
Oh,
Deliberation.
I think she's got this. Yeah, please.
no, it's,
Oh, not yet.
yeah. So I'll ask our attorney. She's the one.
She could talk to, like, we can't.
I studied English, but that's why I struck and operation
That's
is
right.
maintained, but that's okay. I wasn't an English teacher, but I texted my husband to let him know. I thought I'd be home at 9. And I said, we're going longer.
Your neighborhood too, you know, we don't want to mess up.
Hey, wait a minute. Can I have a Dentine ice? Can I have a Dentine ice? Is that yours?
So, here's the thought on it. I think that activity tends to connote something that is more general, right? A more general term, whereas operation sounds more almost like it has a commercial element, I think, to it. So, I place that before you as one way of thinking about the terms. I do note, again, that as Commissioner Zigmont said, you know, you do have language that precedes, right, that describes particular activities, if you will, and arguably operations and farm stands and farm stores and such, right? So I don't think because your regulations do not define the terms agriculture activity specifically and agriculture operation specifically and do not distinguish. I don't think it makes much of a difference if you leave it or don't leave it. It is a comfort level thing, and whether or not you're intending to convey something in addition to a general activity.
That's why I think activity is a good catch-all.
Okay, can I ask you just to restate the motion so we all know what we're voting on here?
Well, perhaps, before he restates, perhaps you should take some sort of a consensus about how you feel about whether or not you want to leave in it and operation in. So that way we don't have people voting no because they want to see that in. Because I'm not sure that your movement necessarily cares that much to see it go down because he keeps and operation in there.
Okay. Okay, your motion, your consensus, your,
Consensus, take the operation, leave it just active.
all right, June. Okay, do you want me to come back to you?
Come back.
Diane, any strong feelings?
No strong feelings, but my preference would be to leave it in.
Okay. And Mr. Rogan?
Same thing. I mean, as our lawyer just stated, it doesn't really seem to have much of an impact. So I'm happy to leave it in.
Okay. Ms. Millard?
I would leave it in.
Okay. And we're under deliberation. And Mr. Hamel?
I would also leave it in.
Okay, that leaves myself and I'll leave it in. And June, leave it in.
Yes, the same.
And
Make a
me?
motion to approve as written.
Second.
Second by Ms. Millard. Further discussion on this item, then all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Mr. Hamel?
You're nine, nay.
He said I.
Oh, he said aye? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you. All right.
Seconded, and we're sorry.
Ms. Millard?
I was leaving it in.
Yeah,
Yeah, leaving it as written,
that was majority.
As edited.
and everyone voted to the aye. And then in the positive for them. Congratulations, you're good. Yeah, all right. But we're still gonna go back and make a note that we're gonna revisit. We're not gonna get too far from this. The agricultural,
All agricultural.
okay. Congratulations. Now, our next thing is executive sessions. So. What?
So
I know.
If I could just offer some guidance on this, just a quick overview of what we're doing procedurally. Well, maybe I shouldn't say procedurally, operationally, logistically.
There you are, operation.
Oh.
Because we do have somebody that's going to be participating remotely on the first executive session. So what we have done, for the ease of that, is we have reserved Doc Mac, and we've created a separate Zoom because you're going to need to come back into this main Zoom. So we are going to pause it. We're going to take a little walk, stretch everybody's legs down to Doc Mac so we could do the executive session for the first litigation item that's down
And then
there.
we're gonna come back here.
And then we're going to come back. We're going to go back on the record. And you can vote on that matter. And then, so those interested parties can leave the meeting. And then we'll go into the second one that I expect will be more lengthy. Okay? So, in terms of who you're going to invite into executive session on the first one, it's going to be Tom Kokomo, who's here. And then Tony Valenti will also be joining us via Zoom. On behalf of Newport, and of course,
Staff.
Mrs. Giusti, Ms. Gorlick, and myself.
I make the motion to go into executive session, inviting Mr. Valenti, Mr. Kokomo, our town staff, and our town attorney.
And this is for Kokomo Brothers LLC versus Planning and Zoning Commission of the Town of Berlin and Newport Realty Group LLC, docket number HHB CV 19-605-5772-S. We're going to talk about proposed modifications to the stipulated judgment, and we will be going back into public session at the conclusion of the executive session. So what's going to happen now is we are going to just pause the main meeting on Zoom. And Mr. Biella and Mr. Hamel, I am going to send you the link to go into the executive session, and we will see you downstairs in Doc Mac. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, Ms. Jorsey has a second on that. All right, so we're gonna pause now. What equipment from here do we need to take with us? Do we need this packet?
Yeah.
Take this packet and your purse, ladies, and leave everything else. And it's- oh,